Hi, I'm Ian Griffiths, and this is a talk from the Building Business Applications with Silverlight series. We're going to look in this talk at the so-called toast notification pop-ups, the notification window to give it its proper name. This refers to the ability for out-of-browser Silverlight applications to display a temporary notification window that appears at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen to show you information about something that has just happened that may have required the user's attention. So this is popular in things like instant messenger applications, or Outlook does a pop-up down there as well, and Silverlight can do the same thing. So in the context of our example application, where our out-of-browser piece is an administrative tool enabling administrators to find out when new people have signed up for an event, we could show a pop-up to say, someone just signed up, or this many people are now signed up and are waiting for a response. So if the admin is off doing something else in their machine, they get some sort of notification that the application now requires their attention. So it's pretty straightforward to use this. There are some restrictions on what you can do, largely there for security reasons. So Toast windows don't tend to have the normal window chrome, the normal border around the outside of the window, because that's just not part of the look. So it's a borderless window. But the designers of Silverlight wanted to be careful to make sure that you couldn't exploit that to somehow fake up something that looked like some other piece of UI. For example, they didn't want it to be possible to make it take over the screen and pretend to be a login dialog or a password dialog of some kind. So you're limited in position. You've got no control over where it appears. It always appears at the bottom right-hand corner. You've got limitations over size. So the thing's not allowed to be any wider than 400 pixels or any taller than 100 pixels. And also you don't get to use effects like transparency. If you choose not to paint in some area of the space you've chosen for the size, then it will just be filled in white for you. So about the only control you've got is you can make it smaller than the maximum size if you want, and you can fill almost the entire region. Silverlight will draw an outline around the border of the thing for you, but everything else is yours to paint as you see fit. So to use, it's pretty straightforward. We just create the notification window object, and then we can provide it with any user interface element as the content. Typically, we'd use a user control to define the appearance of the thing. And then we have to set the width and height that we require, and then just show the thing, passing in a timeout, saying how long we'd like the thing to appear on screen. And one thing we have to be careful of is that if there's already a window showing when we call show, we have to make sure we close the one that was already open. You're only allowed to open one notification window at a time. So it won't stack the things on top of one another if you have multiple messages to show. It's your job to work out what to do in that situation. Either you have to make sure you've waited until the previous message has shown up, or perhaps you could have some way of aggregating the information into a single pop-up so you only ever need to show one at a time. But either way, if you just ignore the problem and try and show two messages in a row, you're going to get an exception. So you need to avoid doing that. So let's take a look at how this is done. So I've got an empty Silverlight application here, which I've already configured to run out of browser. Toast notifications are an out of browser only operation. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a user control to represent the content that will appear. So let's call this notification content. So the maximum window size we're allowed is 400 by 100 pixels, except Silverlight actually takes a couple of those in each direction for itself. It draws an outline around the shape. So actually we've got a maximum content area of 398 by 98 pixels. So let's fix the width, since we know how big it's going to be. So I'll get rid of these design width and height. I'm going to make the width be 150 pixels, and the height is going to be the full 98. And let's make the background cyan, and then in the center I'm going to put some text. Let's align this centrally. And so that's what it's going to look like. Not particularly adventurous, but you can put whatever content you like in there. This is just to illustrate how it's going to work. So in my main page, just so I can show you the API without confusing it with any other issues, I'm just going to provide a button that I can click that will show the toast for me straight away. Obviously, in a real application, you need to do some work to work out when you're actually going to show the toast. But that's obviously an application-dependent decision. So the way that works will be different for each piece of code. So for now, I'll just add a button to show the toast, and let's have a click handler. So in my code behind, I'm going to create a notification window object. And in here, first thing to check is the visibility. If the thing is currently visible, it's my job to close it before I try and do anything else. So if the visibility is equal to visible, then close the thing before we try and do anything else. Then create my content. I need to make sure I size the notification window. It won't size itself to content. I need to tell it exactly how big I'd like it to be. So let's set the notification window width to be my content width plus a couple of pixels for the border. And likewise, let's do the height. And we'll make that the content of my notification window. And now I just show that window, and by passing the number of milliseconds I would like the pop-up to be visible for. So let's make it visible for 5 seconds. So I'll run this. So I'm running out of browser, as you can see. This only works out of browser. Click the button, and the toast appears, and then after 5 seconds, it'll vanish again. And that's all there is to it. We create a notification window, we provide it with some content, we size the thing to whatever we need, we call show, making sure it's not already visible, and that's it.